Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Tara and Cassie, and we are back with another crypto market update.
Hi Cass, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tara.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to get into the charts. Even though not much has changed, it still is validating what we've been talking about. So that's always a good day for us.
It's still going as planned.
Nothing too crazy. All right, let's get to the charts. So here we are on the daily time frame. And if you guys are new to our channel, I just want to highlight that Cassie and I believe that the bottom was in for wave 4 when it hit our target here at 597. So since the bottom here, Cassie and I have been tracking a major wave on the way up to 95.6K. And so that's what we're going to continue to be doing for the next several weeks, is tracking that 5-wave structure going up to that target, just so we can make sure that the current waves that are forming are still in line with our macro view. And so if you're new here, that's what we're going to continue to be doing for the next several weeks. And yesterday, Cassie and I had given you 2 resistance levels that we needed to watch out for as the market continued to form. And the first one was at 66.7K. And so on this chart, you can see that Bitcoin has come up and it's perfectly hit that as resistance. And it could not break past that 66.7K fib. So I do want to point out that the MA is now sitting on top of this 382 fib here at 65.3K. And so I believe because we couldn't break up past that 66.7K, it's very possible that we're going to come down to this 382 and test the breakout above the MA here as support. And so I think that we're going to possibly be bouncing between these 2 levels here, at least until it can break up above the 66.7K. That will also give the RSI a chance to come down and test its breakout above the MA. So you can see we only have a tiny bit here left between the RSI and its MA. So I don't see a major move coming today, but I do see it possibly coming down, like I said, to 65.3K, which will help build support and get enough momentum for us to push up again to new highs. So let's just have Cassie go into here and give you a look at the divergence that formed when we did hit this 0.5 fib level.
I was just about to mention something else on your chart. Oh yeah, and then hitting this 0.5 as resistance chart, if it can't break this, a larger correction is still valid, right? Because we've only come to that 236 retrace. We could come down to that 55,000 level. So this is a really key moment on the subwaves and on Bitcoin in general. And the fact that it couldn't break that 0.5, that's going to be key level to break in order for our new trend to form. So I think you're spot on, Tar, though. I think the MA is aligning right at that 382 and perfect on the RSI. It's going to give us support.
Yep. And yeah, like Cassie just mentioned, this 0.5 fib, like we said yesterday, is very critical. So as long as we are under this 0.5 fib, we are still trending bearish. And so Bitcoin needs to break up above that fib so we can confirm that we're on a new bullish trend. And it hasn't been doing that yet. So like she mentioned, as long as we are under this level here, we still have this 382 here at 54.8. That is still valid. It's not likely in my opinion, but it is technically valid. We need to track the waves as they form just to make sure that they're still in line with our major trend, which is a bullish trend on the way up to 95.6K. So let's just have Cassie take us into the subwaves here. Yeah.
Wait, one more thing. And then, and that's why we're tracking the subwaves too, is to really get alignment on which fib retracement is going to pivot on. And that's why we've been really targeting that 236 because of all the alignment that we're getting there. And nothing really is aligning to that lower 382. So I just want to make that clear, but it is still a valid retracement level for wave 4. We need to keep that level in mind. But yeah, we're not seeing any alignment to that retracement. So I just wanted to call that out before I move on. So so let me get into the subwaves and let's take a closer look. I'm on the 4-hour where it's a little bit more clear and not so muddy right now. And I really wanted to point out the RSI trend line because I talked about how we would be using this trend line and we would be coming up to test it as resistance. And you can see our perfect test of resistance on that trend line. So this is a really key trend line to have on your charts. And we are now essentially hitting that MA on the RSI, and we do have some little type of support here on the short term here. So at 66,000 is looking at about local support. So what I'm going to do is show you guys just our really short term local retraces, how to pull those. And then we're going to zoom in and I'm going to show you the divergence that occurred at this 0.5 touch here. So first, let's get our retraces, which are something that you're going to be looking for within the next day or so as it starts to come down. So I'm just going to grab the fib retracement tool there and then the low, and then I'm coming up to the high that it made. So I'm just going to mark these in general. I can usually get pretty good at getting that without putting in the coordinates. But okay, so we have our retracement levels here. You can see we are between the 118 and the larger 236 retrace. So I'm not expecting it to necessarily hold here. So our larger retrace level is looking at about 65.5. Is that what you had on your chart, Tar?
65.3 was that higher time frame fib. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so this 236 level is going to be key. This might be our pivot level here for us to come up and make new highs. So, and you can see on the 4 hour, we are still making higher highs on the RSI. It's not until you zoom in that we really have that divergence. So like Tar said, maybe just a little bit of a drop, not necessarily new low. So that's why we have our retracement levels pulled here. We also wanted to point out that you can see our key 618 retrace is sitting right at our key support level here as well. That's at that 62,000. So a major breakdown, this is still going to be really strong support on Bitcoin. So I wanted to point that out there. We are not expecting new lows, in my opinion. So local supports, make sure you have these. And then now let's get zoomed into 1 hour so you can really see that divergence that occurred. Okay, so here's the divergence. You can see this is our highest high in price right here. So this is just a quick little retrace that's going to happen and probably come up for a new high after that. So what I really want to pay attention to is 4 hour. And I know I keep saying we're zoomed in here, but 4 hour has a really clear view of what's going on. So especially on the RSI. So this is the chart that I'm going to be monitoring for the next day.
Yeah. So technically, guys, this just means that possibly, like we said, in the next few hours or, for the rest of the day, we could come down a little bit. But the fact that these higher timeframes don't have that divergence means in the longer term, we're still headed up and we don't have a reversal yet.
We don't have our final top yet.
Yeah, we don't have a reversal signal. So this looks like this trend is still going to continue on the mid to higher timeframes. So that's what that means when we see that divergence on the lower timeframes, but not yet on these mid to high timeframes. Also, I wanted to point out that if you are new to our channel, because this is that first wave of that major wave going up to 95.6K. We've mentioned before, but this first wave is very difficult to track the subwaves of. And so right now we're just going to be following these fib levels until we can confirm that that first wave is done, because that first wave will set the tone for the rest of that 5-wave structure. And so we're going to be following that closely, and then we're going to use the measurements of wave 1 to measure out the rest of those waves. So I just want to make that clear for those who didn't catch our update yesterday, and just to get you guys up to speed on where we are right now in the market.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Cass?
I think that's it for Bitcoin.
All right, let's get over to Ethereum. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum on the daily time frame, and really not much has changed on Ethereum, guys. We did come up and meet the MA, which was short-term resistance, or is still short-term resistance, which is exactly where it's sitting right now at 3180. And so the RSI did come up above its MA, so it's trying to flip bullish, but it still needs to test that breakout for support right here on the MA, which is a very small amount of movement that it should make. So just like on Bitcoin, we're not necessarily expecting it to come down and make new lows, but we do think it's possible for it to come down and gather support, possibly here on this main 382 fib at 3110 before coming up and making a new high. So like I said, we need a little bit more development, at least on Ethereum, before we can try to find any more type of waves or any type of wave structure. So let's just have Cassie go into the subwaves here, and starting with our bottom here for wave 4, let's see what Cassie thinks is going on in these subwaves here.
Okay, I have Ethereum on the 4 hour again here. And just like Tara mentioned, we don't have anything really monumental going on Ethereum. We are still within the wave 4 levels, so nothing really clear as far as direction goes. But take a look at this RSI that I have that we mentioned. It was in this really tight channel here. The fact that it broke down the RSI but didn't really affect the price makes me think that this is probably going to continue up. So what I'm thinking is I want to get zoomed in here to 1 hour. So again, the highest high in price made a new extreme on the RSI. So we are still expecting another high after this, but this is getting really muddy as it just continues to range. So I don't want us to weigh too heavily on any signals that we're going to get at this point as it just ranges. We really need just a clear break either way to be sure. So you can see it's still respecting that 0.5 retrace, which is, like Tara mentioned, our pivot fib. So this really helps us to understand if it's going to keep continuing in bearish trends or if it's going to break into bullish trends. And it is right now resisting that 0.5. And you can see zoomed in on the MA, it is also resisting. So that's really what I'm looking at as far as short term. We do need to come down to some support to get the strength if it's going to break out, because it's just been ranging for too long. It's going to need something to break this out. So what I'm thinking is we just get these short-term retraces, Tar.
Okay. I was going to say maybe call out those 2 yellow fibs, because those are going to be significant, I believe, on the support.
Okay. So we have the larger support, which is at 31.15 about, and then that local support at 31.40. I'm thinking it's going to continue to find support right in here with the alignment of those. If you're really trying to track a pivot here, what you want to do is, since it's not clear here, even getting zoomed in on the 15-minute will help you track the bottom as it starts to come down. So you can see all the way zoomed in, this was our high here, and this was our low. So our lowest low in price made a new extreme on the RSI. As it comes down to reach these key levels, take a look at what the RSI is looking like. If it's making a new extreme, then it's probably going to continue down in those fib levels. If it's building that divergence, though, where the price is coming lower and our RSI is higher, then that would be more than likely our pivot fib. So we'll come back tomorrow and look at those, but that's something to look at in the next few hours if you really want to track the bottom of Ethereum here. So as you can see, it's just been ranging for the last several days. So
and it is possible that it is ranging because Ethereum was cut short of that full extension for that 5th wave because Bitcoin already hit its target. So it's possible that, for one, that could be why it's ranging, but also it's waiting for volume. And Bitcoin hasn't really moved that much either. So we need some volume to come in here so we can break out of this correction. But also, Cass, did you show them how to get those resistance levels yesterday?
0.5.
Yeah,
guys. So these are the retracement levels that I showed you how to put on. And so as it's respecting that 0.5 retrace, just continue to keep on these retracement levels, and it will probably respect these in the next day or so. So we'll have our supports coming down and then our resistance levels coming up. So like I said, get zoomed in there if you really want to track the bottom here, and you'll probably be able to spot that clearly on a 15-minute or so.
All right, let's get over to XRP then.
Okay.
And let me dig through all my charts to try to find the one XRP chart that I need. Okay. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one either.
It was really exciting on XRP yesterday.
Okay, so here we are on XRP on the daily time frame, and take a look at this major pump up here from the bottom of that triangle. It's now come up and it reached about 57 cents, and it made a new high on the RSI. So technically, guys, that means that we're going to continue with this bullish trend, and there's no signals of a reversal just yet. Take a look at where the price is sitting exactly right now, though. This is that 618 support level at 54 cents or so. This is a very critical level on XRP, and we've mentioned this level many times. What we want to see is XRP building support right on top of this level, and you can see that the MA is pointing directly at the bottom of the triangle. So what that means is that this bottom of the triangle is key support right now on XRP, and again, that's exactly what we want to see. So let's just have Cassie take us into the subwaves here and give you a closer look at what we're expecting.
Yes. Nice chart, Tar. I like
Yep.
that. So even if we had like a wick down to that support level and then closing right back above that 618, that's really bullish for XRP. So yep, I'm a little bit more zoomed in here. XRP 1 hour. You can see this is the reclaim we had of that trend line that we're talking about. And this was that major pump from that trend line that we had. And now we are coming back down to test and find support, which is a good thing. We want this to start building support here. And then one thing to notice though, is that high in price was our highest high in the RSI. So we're not seeing any tops just yet, meaning like Tar said, we're probably going to be building support right on top of this triangle and coming up for another high. At that time, the RSI could still be stronger even then, or we could see a bearish divergence potentially at the top of the triangle here, which currently is just over 60 cents. So we're going to find, we might get some crazy price action, you know, between resistance and support here. But as of the short term, what we're looking for is to come down, test the support a little bit more clearly, and then really get our break to that 60 cents is what we're looking for. And just as Tar mentioned, we are really done with all of the waves on XRP. So this could really break out at any time. So even if we do come down and test for support, I'm not necessarily saying that that final wave will be bearish either, because we could have the strength that we need to really break out of that triangle at that point.